Hello, this is Daniel Piatek. How are you today? I hope you're doing well. It seems like a lot of us these days are going through a lot. This has been a year of going through a lot in our lives, personally, professionally, otherwise. And I use astrology to kind of help me understand that, and I'm not going to go into that in this video, but astrologically speaking, 2019 is a heck of a year for having us to really look into and make headway, make change in some of the more fundamental difficulties in our lives so that we can put them in the past, make decisions about what we leave behind and what we move forward with in our lives so that we can become more of who we came to be. So in dealing with the stuff that I'm dealing with in my own life, everybody I know, my clients, people that when I'm doing readings, I'm finding that there's something that would be, I thought might be helpful to share, because there's a framework from which I see life that really helps to make the challenging times, I find, tremendously easier to find my way through, because there's a couple of different frames, a couple of different contexts that I use that help me to find my way through with a little more grace and ease and not quite so much Sturm und Drang, storm and stress. So fundamentally, I look at life from a framework that we're here as souls, as individual expressions of the divine, individualized expressions of the divine, coming to find our way through in our life because we have something or some things that we decided we wanted to do here. And in so doing, life would serve us up the opportunities to, have fun, enjoy, find the expressions for who we are and discover more about ourselves, but also provide opportunities for growth, for difficulties in order for us to evolve, to grow. So think of how a child develops. For instance, there's the difficulties of just learning how to eat food and to crawl and then to walk at first. But then, more and more challenges come, learning, developing how to be comfortable using our body, using our mind, etc. So as we get to be adults, those kind of things get taken care of. But if we're fortunate in life, we've found in life that the more survival-based issues get handled, then we have the opportunities to develop the more interior parts of ourselves, to grow and develop our skills and talents, to deal with things like self-doubt and these kind of things. So first of all, when I come up against challenges, after I kind of find my way through maybe the initial emotional difficulties of whatever that current stress or challenge is then I immediately adopt a framework. Okay, so how is this here to help me to grow and develop? How is this here to help me to grow and develop? Is huge, because it immediately invites me, forces me, because I'm looking at it through that, whatever the challenges in my life, through that frame, it immediately removes victimhood. It immediately removes the lens where, oh, poor me, and how could this happen, etc. And those feelings and emotions are totally normal. There's nothing wrong with them. But in order to move forward, that's not a very powerful place to move forward from. So I adopt the framework. How is this here to help me to grow and develop? And then I can begin to look at the situation and find the places, the ways in which I can look internally at my own belief system, the beliefs I have about myself, about the situation that may need to be relooked at, re-examined, or the situation outside. How can I look at this differently so that then I can see a new way through? So the second thing that I grab onto, which is kind of inherent in the first, is that there's no problem here. There's no problem here. So sometimes when I'm talking to friends or talking to myself, which I like to do because it helps me to get the craziness of my mind out into something that's linear and I can see and deal with, so I tend to talk to myself, is to say, I really hate this situation. I wish this wasn't happening. And because it helps to acknowledge what you're actually feeling about something, so you're not trying to pretend that, man, this is really uncomfortable, or I don't particularly like this. This is no fun. Now, this is here to help me to grow and develop. Let me say it a little differently, because that may be a stretch for you. So if that's a stretch for you, then maybe you could just try on, if this situation was here for me to grow and develop. If. So just try on those lenses and see what you see. So from those lenses, then immediately comes, there's no problem here. Like, there's not something wrong. It's like, no, this is the next situation that the universe is giving to you, that I'm giving to myself, that life is giving to me, to help me to grow and develop, so that I can do what it is that I decided that I wanted to come here and do when I came to the earth at this time in this life. So there's no problem. I can hate it, emotionally difficulty, I wish it wasn't happening, and there's no problem here. And so the third, and also kind of follows on from that, is that I'm not wrong, or there's nothing wrong with me. So this gets into a realm that I'm not going to go into it at a lot of depth in this video, but there's tremendous depth to go in here. Is that the way that our minds, our thinking, what I call our inner critic, likes to work, is to find those things in life so that it can prove to us in itself that there's something fundamentally wrong with me. I mean, it's, maybe you've heard those thoughts. I make light of it because it's kind of I find it really helps to do it, because otherwise if I take it too seriously, then it doesn't really help. So, but it's important to really have something to fight back with and say, okay, there's nothing wrong with me. Now, and there may be choices I made in the weeks, months leading up to this situation that I can see now created this situation here, and maybe now from this point of view I would have done some things differently. That's not, there's something wrong with me. I may see now, because of where life has led me to and where I've grown and developed, that I made decisions now that I would choose to do differently. And if I really let that in, really see that, start to feel the pain or the difficulty that got created out of those situations. And it's like, yeah, gosh, yeah, I did that and I did that, and now I'm having to deal with this. Yeah. So in that, there's the possibility to learn and grow from, so that the mistake doesn't happen again, or maybe not in the same way. Or if it does happen again, you can say, oh yeah, and I saw that time. So what did I miss? What did I miss that this is happening again? But when you go to, there's something fundamentally wrong with me, it's like cutting our legs out from under us. It's the shame monster. There's something wrong with you. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? So whenever you hear yourself say those, or somebody else says that to you, or some version of that in your mind, I'm gonna tell you, it's like sound the red alert and say, hold on a second, I need to shift something here, because there's nothing fundamentally wrong with any of us. We may have difficulties in our lives, and each of us has our own set of difficulties that we're dealing with and growing through and learning and developing through. But there's not something fundamentally wrong with any of us. I would pose. Try it on. See how that gives you a different set of lenses to look through in order to help you deal with the situation in front of you. So I'm going to invite you to try this on with whatever you're looking at in your life. Is take these frames of okay, this is here for me to, if this is here for me to grow and develop, if this situation, this circumstance is here for me to grow and develop, how do I now see it? See where it is like, oh, poor me is coming up, etc. And just see it, acknowledge it. Acknowledge that I really hate this. I can't believe I'm having to deal with this again. I really don't want to be dealing with this. Acknowledge all that. There's nothing wrong with those feelings. And in fact, if you push them away, then you'll end up getting tripped up. Or if you take them on and wear them like clothes, you're going to be just victimized and not really have any traction to move forward from. So try the frame. If this is here to help me, how do I see it? Which then leads to the frame is, there is no problem here. There's no problem. There's no problem here. I can really hate it. It's here for me to grow. This is giving me the opportunity to see what I need to see, to change what I need to change, so that I can move into the next step of my soul, finding its footing here. Finding its footing here in me, through me, into the world, to give what I came to give. And the third is, there's nothing fundamentally wrong with me. I may be seeing now habits or points of view or ways of approaching a situation that I now see that really doesn't serve me. If there's something fundamentally wrong with me, oh, look at me. Oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? Again, you're back in that defeated, deflated victim place. There's no footing. There's no, there isn't the, you know what it is? It's like it doesn't actually take into account the dignity of the challenges of being a human being, basically. Because this world, this world, as beautiful as it is where I am right now, this world is challenging. And it's why we choose to come here, is for those challenges. I would posit, again, another frame to try on. So to say it's like, yes, these are challenges here. I'm seeing some things that I really want to rethink here, because I don't want to find myself again here, is very different than there's something fundamentally wrong with me. What's wrong with me? You original sinner. So these are deep in us, but these frames give us a way out, a way to start moving forward. And what I find is I have to keep picking them up again, because there's old habits that are supported in our culture of what's wrong with you, what's wrong with you, oh, it's so hard. There's all of these ways in which life supports us in there's a problem, in these victimized stance, in thinking there's something fundamentally wrong with us, that we have to consciously remember, bring that frame up. So give it a try, see what you think, and share in the comments. Wherever this is, this might show up in a few places. I would love if you'd share in the comments what you think of this, and if you've tried it and how it works for you. Thanks for stopping by, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.